What's up, good people? It's your man Action Jackson, and you know I got my man Money Mac with me. What's up, Mac?
What's good with you, baby?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You done popped out. Well, your wife done popped out another beautiful baby. He's a
Yeah,
handsome young man, man.
I appreciate it. I
You make
appreciate it.
sure you tell her the channel says what's up. There's so many moving pieces in the NFL right now in this offseason. And I think we had mentioned before, just I don't know if it's more crazy this year because the Steelers are actually part of the teams you're saying, wow, they did this, they did that. We
Yeah.
haven't been one of those teams in a long time. So am I over exaggerating that it's been a busy offseason?
No, definitely not over exaggerating.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it's probably one of the most exciting and talked
Mm,
about off seasons we've had in a long time. From the business aspect, obviously
mm.
drama, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But I mean, at the end of the day, man, this has probably been a great year for the NFL because when you think about it at this time, everything is about basketball or March
Mm,
Madness.
yeah,
When you turn on ESPN, it's something about the NFL every day. Like the
every
NFL
day.
has not slowed down.
I agree. I agree. So let's talk a little bit about these quarterbacks that have been moving and shaking a little bit. First on my list, what do you think about Kyler Murray signing with the Vikings?
It's solid for him. You know what I mean? I think it's good for Kyler. Obviously, you never know how much opportunity he might get to play, you know what I mean, with their current quarterback situation. But with injuries and stuff, he really got an opportunity there. And for the Vikings, it's a win-win. You know what
So
I
you
mean?
don't think he's going in as the number one day starter?
I think it's a possibility. You got a young guy that y'all brought in to be your franchise.
I just don't think you bring Kyler in to say you're going to play backup. I just don't. I don't even think, even if they gave the young boy the conversation that, you know what, it's going to be a camp battle.
Yeah,
I think on the other side, they told Kyler, you got this. But
yeah,
I see it working out very well. I think Kyler still got what it takes. I think for him to be in Arizona, he got a little washed out. And I think just like some of these other quarterbacks like Sam Darnold,
yeah,
whereas though they get a different change of scenery and you just never know what's going to happen. But he has some weapons out there.
yeah,
Minnesota is a very good football team, man. And on the defense, you know who their defensive coordinator is, somebody you wanted as a coach.
I did.
You know, they have the pieces out there. But next on the list,
Mhm.
Malik Willis signs this huge contract to go hang out in Miami. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
To be honest, I thought he was going to y'all. I'm not gonna
Oh,
hold you.
okay, okay,
I
okay.
thought I thought y'all would be great for him, to be
Mm,
honest.
yeah,
Um, but I mean that's good for Miami. That's good for
yeah.
him. And I think he got most of that contract fully guaranteed. Not all of
Yeah,
it, but
upfront
yeah,
money,
most
upfront
of it
money.
fully guaranteed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I mean this is his opportunity. And he gotta show up and Miami's changing everything. So
bruh, they
it's
they done they done got rid of Waddle. Like, I mean, they got rid of my man Minka, sent him
Mhm.
off to the Jets. Like, I don't know. Malik might have didn't know this stuff was going to happen before he signed because he
Yeah.
might have thought differently. Like, you lose your number one receiver and they didn't even get to play with him yet. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. You lose your receiver, but you also lose that great offensive mind. Yeah, I still think he has an opportunity. I think Miami's gonna make some splashes in the draft and stuff too. So we'll see what they do. They just gotta be smart, man, because you got a young guy who's hungry and ready to prove himself. You got to give him the opportunities to prove himself. So
No, I agree, man. At 45 million fully guaranteed, like we said, that's a lot of money, to somebody that really only played like 6, 7 games of real heavy hitting ball,
yeah,
like and,
absolutely.
and and the word that was coming out of Pittsburgh was that if it wasn't going to be Kyler at that 1.3, the word on the street is that Rodgers was coming back. I just saw something the other day that Rodgers was out there in Pittsburgh doing these charity things and you not going back to the team. Why you doing them? He hanging out with Will Howard. Like,
Right.
why are you doing these things if you're not going back? That's just my thought, you
No,
know?
yeah. And I agree with that. I think Aaron's definitely coming back.
We'll see how that looks. Hey, but I do want to stick on these quarterbacks so we can get down this list. One of them wasn't even a trade, but a signing with Daniel Jones, locked into a 2-year extension. 88 million?
Get it for the sake of like what he was doing with the team before the injury. But that injury got to count for something. I mean, like, and you gotta ask yourself, that like was that kind of fool's gold? You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like, nobody saw it coming. So
yeah.
either Daniel Jones was the real deal and he really did step up and was exactly what the coach needed, and the coaches was exactly what he needed. I'd be a little apprehensive, but I understand it.
Yeah, I was looking at that contract, 88 million base, and
Yeah.
then he has some incentives in there. He can make over 100 million, man.
Hmm.
Like it's supposed to be considered the NFL's largest 2-year deal.
Yeah. I mean,
Like you said, is he going to come back and be Kirk Cousins and just be okay?
right.
Or is he going to be, Elway, just really take over? I
Yeah.
personally don't think he is that quarterback. I don't think he's that dude, but
Yeah.
I'm not in that office, and I always worry
Mhm.
about when a player comes back off an injury, you know.
Coming off the injury, but not even just coming off the injury, you only had one. If he was this for a couple seasons for them and then came
Mhm.
off the injury, then I would understand it.
Mm.
But not even a full season's worth of work,
Yeah. Yeah.
got
Yeah.
injured,
Yeah.
and then we know what Daniel Jones was before. I'd be nervous.
So, I know this wasn't on our list of quarterbacks to talk about, but there's
Hmm.
a quarterback down in Baltimore. He's got a contract thing going on. At first, I thought they signed him to a new one, and then, the whole max thing. So, talk to me about your boy Lamar. Is he getting a new contract, or is he going to hold off until 2027?
Yeah, I think he's going to hold off. I think he's going to hold off. I do not see it happening this like with this upcoming season. I
Hmm.
don't, or before the season starts. We know, generally speaking, Lamar doesn't like to do contract negotiation during the season. So it would have to happen before the season. And I think that extension let us know that it's not happening before the season.
Okay.
He still has 2 years, or not the extension, the restructure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he still has 2 years left on his contract. So we still got him. It's not like he can just up and leave us. You know what I mean? We still got him. I think personally, he's waiting to see what this new coaching regime. We got all new coaches.
True.
You know what I
True.
mean? Including a offensive coordinator that is technically younger than him by a
Yeah.
couple months.
That's gotta be a little something. Yeah, it's gotta be a little
Yeah.
something.
So, do I think he's happy with the moves? Absolutely. But do I think he's going to take this year, kind of see how it pans out?
Mhm.
Hopefully, do what we supposed to do, either get to the big show or get right there to where people can't doubt us.
Yeah.
Then he cashes in.
I was just about to say, if there's anybody that could break that bank, he would be the quarterback that every team wish they had. There's
Mhm.
not one team out here that would say, we don't want Lamar. I think he solidified himself as a proven winner. We'll touch back on some of the things that y'all gained as far as the Ravens and some of the pieces that y'all lost. But one of the
Sure.
pieces that was lost this year, running back Montgomery.
David Montgomery.
So
Yeah,
what's your take on Montgomery?
I knew he wanted to be the workhorse.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean? I knew he wanted to be the workhorse. I was a little surprised with the Texans only because they have a running back that they do like. So he's still going to split carries. You know what I'm saying? I see him being a starter,
Mhm.
but he's definitely going to be taken out on like certain passing downs and stuff like that. But hey, I was surprised with the Texans, but I
Mhm.
wasn't surprised that he left.
It's a win-win. I mean, this is one of those ones where you say, "Man, this could work out for both teams."
But yeah, it was a
You
fair
know?
trade.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah, it was a
agree.
fair trade.
Yeah. One of the players that a lot of people like, and that's Kenneth Walker the
Y-
third. I get it. You the Super Bowl MVP. I like where he's going to Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see what they do in the draft. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't really tripping about him.
Okay,
Like right
okay.
now, right now.
Yeah,
Don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
right now.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Patty is still Patty. You always gotta
Mhm.
respect him. But I think last season we kind of saw what the truth can be. You
I
know what I
agree.
mean?
And I'm gonna take it a step further, Mac. I think they showed a lot of kinks in that armor when they got smacked around by Philly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
When that's
yeah,
that Super Bowl, Philly just did pretty much what they wanted, and it showed a lot of teams what you can do to Kansas City.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, disrupt a
Right,
lot of what they wanted to do.
right.
Another running back that I think is going to actually do pretty well is Travis Etienne. Yeah, going to the Saints.
Yeah,
Like they like
yeah.
to
No,
run the ball and they got a fast track.
they
I've
do.
always liked Etienne. What do you
And
think?
that's a good squad. That's a good squad for him. they're up
Yeah,
and coming. They got some stuff that they got to figure out. But I think that's a good squad for him. Alvin Kamara,
yeah,
you don't know what
yeah.
to expect from him.
Man, I like Alvin Kamara, but again with ETN, I just think that that's going to bode well for the Saints.
For sure.
Steelers play the Saints this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Rico Daldo is going to do. Man, we getting him from Carolina. With us losing Gainwell at first, but
Yeah.
once I woke up in the morning and saw that we signed Rico, I was like, hold up. I mean, I don't think Gainwell ever had a 200-yard rush, and if he did, it must have been in college.
Yeah, I don't
And
think I don't.
and Rico had a 200, and then he had a 182 to follow that up. Like
Mhm.
that's some impressive numbers, man. Are you a fan of Rico?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's not something that you want to see, obviously, as a Ravens fan going there, because I do think he's solid.
Mhm. All right. We got Rico going to Pittsburgh, Kenneth Gainwell going to Tampa Bay. I like that for them.
Mhm. And they're gonna use him more because now they don't have Mike Evans. It's a good opportunity for him. It'll be seeing what they do with certain things. I am curious, because I read a report today talking about Mike Evans. Well, the GM from Tampa Bay came out and said that they offer Mike Evans significantly more than he got with the 49ers. So it goes to show like he left for something other than money. He felt that San Fran was a better opportunity for him. So that was surprising to me. I ain't gonna lie.
It bodes well with San Francisco. When I look at that San Francisco team, they have some pieces out there,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And last on our list, the running backs, and it's a couple more. And if I missed them, we could talk about it later. But
yeah,
one of the prominent ones was J.K. Dobbins. I put him in there because you're a little familiar with J.K. and with him going to the Broncos.
yeah, yeah,
What do you think? What do you think about that?
yeah. It hurt me to see him leave the
Mm-hmm.
Ravens when he left the Ravens.
Yeah.
I understood it because of his injury, and I'll be honest, that's the same thing I'm gonna say here. Good
Okay.
squad, good opportunity, but I don't think he's finished a season in the last 4 seasons. Achilles, ACL. I mean, these are major injuries.
So
I really want to see him do good because I think he's a good kid, and I think he's uber talented when he's healthy. But like they say, the best ability is availability, and he's just never that. So I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's getting opportunity. He's going. He got somebody like Sean Payton, good offensive
Mhm.
mind. You know what I mean? But
I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of these cornerbacks. One
yeah,
of the biggest surprises that I thought was Reek Woolen that,
yep.
that signed from Seattle to go to the Eagles. Now he got a 1-year deal up to 15 mil, bro. 15 mil. And this was a dude that I've seen during the season and he was getting benched. He's worth that?
Says it seems like the Eagles know something we don't know. Or maybe
Yeah.
schematically they think he's worth it.
I get it. He's a long, rangy corner, but when I look at some of the pieces that was moved this year, I just didn't see his name being a $15 million cornerback. I mean,
Yeah.
sticking on these on cornerbacks, the Rams and Chiefs made a trade with
Mhm.
Trent McDuffie. He was a Pro Bowler. So when you give up a first round pick, and the Rams gave up an additional two other picks,
Yeah.
but now that's somebody I get it. I get it. A proven track record of why
Yeah.
you're getting first round pick appreciation. The good thing I like what the Rams did, even though they gave away a first, they still have a first round pick at number 13.
Yeah,
What do
they're
you
good.
think about McDuffie, man?
I mean, I thought it was smart for the Rams. So I spoke to a Kansas City fan, and his justification was that their corners that they have right now are pretty solid. He feels like they should go elsewhere in a first round. He feels like they should go Sadiq to
Mm-hmm.
replace
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
But as we saw, Kelsey also just signed a deal.
So Kelsey signing big money, and that's something else. I mean, he's one of those. Did they sign him because he's one of the faces of the franchise, or do they still feel like he's got enough juice in the tank? 'Cause was it a 3 year?
3 year. Yep.
Yeah. So
3 year.
does he have enough juice in the tank to rock out for 3 more years?
Yeah.
I think they oversigned because he's one of the faces of the franchise. But
Yeah.
what do you think about that, man?
I think they did the same thing with Travis that we just did with Mark Andrews. We signed him mid last season for another 3 years when everybody thought we was going to stick with Isaiah Likely. I think
Okay.
that when you have a franchise quarterback that you believe heavily in, if they say I want my security blanket, you keep their security blanket. Mark
I
Andrews was
got you.
always Lamar's security blanket. Travis Kelce is always Patrick's security blanket.
Yeah,
And if he called Trav and said, "Bro, you still got juice? You coming back?" And Trav said, "Yes, I still got
yeah.
juice." Yeah. So and nothing shows that there was a fall off.
Speaking of fall off, I was not as high on DJ Moore as a lot of people. I know that that Bears receiving room is still nice without DJ Moore.
Yes.
You
There's
know, they got some
Mhm.
flyers out there, and I don't think them losing DJ Moore for a fifth round pick. They got a second round pick. So I don't think that's bad, you know.
I don't know what I feel about DJ. What I can tell you is that, he made me mad in fantasy. I can tell you that. You know what I'm saying?
You should have
I
got
can
Rome, man. Rome was
Yeah. I can tell you he made me mad in fantasy, but I get it.
yeah.
Good move or whatever. I don't think it necessarily solves anything for Buffalo.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it did to me, it didn't move the needle on them
Mm,
being better or worse or whatever. Like,
right.
I think that you put a solid name on your roster, but is he gonna be the guy that gets Josh to the echelon? I don't know. And maybe he
Yeah.
shuts us all up, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, a guy that their team is hoping takes them to another level, paired up with their all big money quarterback, was Alec
Mhm.
Pierce, signing that 4-year, $116 million contract. I'm
Yeah.
like, Alec, who?
Yeah.
I'm not dissing him. It wasn't like he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons and y'all paid a man 4 years, 10 million. What's going on down there?
I think they just trying to build something that I mean, we just talked about Daniel and paying money we didn't necessarily think he earned.
Mm.
Why? But I do know that JSN thanks him
Oh yeah.
because you
Oh yeah.
you signed that. Now Seattle had to pay
They had
JSN
to.
some crazy numbers. Hey, you
Yeah.
push the market. You see what they just did with him? You better give
Yeah.
me something. We won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl, baby. So
It's all about the timing too, boy. Speaking of the timing, with
yeah,
the Pittsburgh Steelers trading for Michael Pittman Jr. the first day,
yeah.
and they sign him right away, and then you start seeing people like Waddle. I am so glad that the Steelers signed Michael Pittman Jr. as
For the market
early
got
as they
pushed.
did. Like, all these other players getting these big checks. I know he looking like, yo, I should have waited. I know he's thinking that. You know?
Probably because he's
Yeah.
going to do the
Yeah.
same thing as with us with Zay. Because I think we're going to pay Zay. He's
Mm-hmm.
homegrown, first ever drafted receiver for us to go to the go to the Pro Bowl. And his numbers have gone up every year. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? His numbers
Mm-hmm.
even went up this year without Lamar for part
Yeah.
of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? First receiver in Ravens history ever have 1,000 yards. We pick up his 5th year option.
I think he is a good receiver for y'all for what y'all do. Again, if y'all pair him with a big body on the outside, like y'all were treating Likely a little bit, but
Yeah,
y'all give Zay another component on the outside. I think that works well. But the next receiver, I like him, but he's just a good receiver, and that's Romeo Dobbs, who ended up going to New England. Now he got a 4-year, 68 million.
yep,
Again, we
yeah.
talk about proven people that have done it.
Yeah, he's proven. You got a young team that is trying to make sure that they continue on the success that they
Mm,
just had. You
yeah.
gotta add pieces. You gotta give Drake the pieces.
Mhm.
Obviously, they cut, release, or whatever. Stephon. So you
So you
had to
think
fill
that's a
something.
wash? You think that's just a wash right there? Because Diggs was balling. He had some good games, so maybe that's a wash. Back with us in the AFC North,
Mhm.
Trey Hendrickson
Yeah,
leaving, and they had Joseph Osai,
yeah, yeah,
Cincinnati, needed some pass rush help. So they went ahead and signed Mayfield. I was looking at his stats and I said, wait a minute. In his last 5 games, he only had 10 tackles. You had 10 tackles in 5 games, bruh, and you only had 1 sack in the last 5 games. So
hmm
if you playing a 15-game season, two you might injure, whatever, you giving me 3 sacks?
yeah.
That's it?
Like we was just talking about,
Hmm.
you've lost two solid pieces and you lost one in division.
In division.
You know?
Two, I mean, with Trey and Joseph, you lose both of them.
Yep.
And they was pushing the pocket as well as you can push a pocket
Yeah.
with no other help. That was it. That was their
hmm
defensive line right there.
Yeah.
and then you sign a dude that only gonna get you 2 tackles a game. I just don't think it's enough, and again, I'm happy they got it. Spend that money. He got 20 mil a year.
Yeah, 3
So
years,
you put
60.
20 mil into him, and he gonna give you 2 tackles he give you 3 tackles a game. Wow,
And he's gonna get your secondary exposed because your secondary is already weak,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your
yeah,
secondary normally when they get made up for by the pass rush with Trey. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? So they don't gotta cover as long.
yeah. Your squad has some trickeration going on, man. Y'all had jerseys already made,
Need all
people
kinds.
had bumper sticker talking about Mac the sack. Like
Yeah.
they had everything and they had to sip it to Africa. It's a kid in Africa walking around right now with a
Hey,
jersey that says Crosby.
and I love
What
that for
happened
them.
with all that, bro?
Yeah, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, every trade is pending a physical.
Mm-hmm.
Did the physical, failed the physical, but not only that, the MRI was viewed by 4 other doctors, including the one that the NFL considers one of the most reputable in Dallas. And Dallas stopped pursuing him too. So I think that we made the right decision. At the end of the day, like it's a business, and EDC had to do what he thought was best.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was trying to pull off the makeup of a century. When all
Mm-hmm.
the reports came out and said, and even Trey Hendrickson in his press conference with us said he fully expected that he was going to be playing alongside with Max Crosby. Like we were trying to get both, and we actually had the money for it after Lamar's restructure.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby, boy, that would have been boy, hey
Look,
boy,
look.
that'd have been
So
crazy.
so I was clapping, I was like,
Yeah,
"All right, that trade ain't go through. All right,
yeah,
no Max Crosby." Then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, "Really, Trey?
yeah,
He all fresh. He done took off 10 games last
yeah,
year. He coming back fresh off his injury.
yeah.
He gonna be ready to ball."
His
Mhm.
his sack numbers, prove it. It was what, just 2 seasons ago, Trey
Yeah, he led the
Hendrickson led
league.
the
Yeah.
league in
Mhm.
sacks.
Mhm.
Trey gets to the quarterback. He's not necessarily as good against the run. He's not, as much of a disruptor, I guess, in the terms of disrupting the
Right, he
flow of the
doesn't get a
game.
lot of tackle for losses. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does what you need him to do. And I think with Jesse Minter as our new
Mhm.
defensive mind and Anthony Weaver as our defensive coordinator, I think we're going to get exactly what we need out of him. The trade thing, yes, it looked bad on us. I can't take nothing away from it. Do I still think that EDC did what was best for the team? I do. Um,
You had to do your homework.
yeah, yeah,
You had to dot your I's. You had to cross your T's. You giving up 2 first-round picks. You had to do as much due diligence as you could. And
right.
granted, if that was the big play that y'all were gonna have both Trey and Max, that would have been amazing. Nobody would have questioned that. Everybody would have
Yeah,
loved it. Then you did well. You get one of the guys that you had circled yeah, you know what? I'm glad y'all didn't get Max. As you say, he's a disruptor. He makes quarterbacks second guess.
everything.
Trey gonna get right to you. He ain't doing no dance moves. He ain't doing no super jumps. He ain't staying on the field 98% of the plays. But the
Nope.
plays he's on the field, he is gonna make a difference.
Yeah,
So my concern with that, Mac, is yeah, you picked up a very good defender, but you lost a lot this year.
we did.
Tyler, your
Hmm.
center, like
Yeah,
talk to me, Mac. Talk
that
to me.
hurts. That hurts, right? The only thing that I say to it, the only reason I'm not even upset about it is because the Raiders way overpaid.
We
And we would not have matched that. We'd have been stupid
no.
to try to match it. Like it sucks to lose somebody like that, to lose that security blanket, that chemistry that you got with Lamar.
Which one hurts the most?
It's probably Isaiah.
Okay.
Our front is probably Isaiah. Like I said, Tyler hurts, but you knew you couldn't keep up with that price. Losing Charlie, who was probably our best blocking tight end. And when you start talking about what our offensive line was last year, we need as much back as we can. The one that hurt our pride the most is Pat Ricard. Yeah, Pat Ricard.
As soon as Harbs went to the Giants, and
Yeah.
you already told me, without a doubt, he is going up to Harbs.
That one hurts our soul a little bit, man. That's Project Pat, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like 300 pounds, blocked with the best of them. What people don't even pay attention to is we played him on our defensive line at times. Like, he played defense for us at times. Bro, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
Could do it
I
all.
saw he can catch the ball too.
Yeah, he could catch the ball. He was on special team for us at times. But he could do it all. And he's a Raven too and through. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it goes to show his loyalty was with John. You know what I mean? So
Did you have somebody in the wings for a center to
we got Bullock still sitting there. We don't know much about him because obviously we had Linderbaum, so we don't know. No, but he's there, and I think he's gonna be the projected starter in the interim. I think he's capable, but most mock drafts having us picking Vega Ione
Mhm,
at
mhm,
guard at number
mhm.
14, and he will be a huge asset.
Okay.
Because from my understanding, he's actually versatile enough to play center if needed. Um, so hopefully we stick with that. One mock draft has us picking a receiver, had us picking Sadiq, which I don't think that's happening. I mean, I think the
Okay.
Ravens,
Yeah.
generally speaking, we're really good at drafting tight ends. I do think we would draft a tight end. I just don't think we would draft at 14.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we'll see.
And I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking forward to more moves that teams will make in these next few weeks leading up into the draft.
So you still know you got people trying to move around picks, trying to sign some people, try to work some numbers. Pro days going on. You know what I mean? Hey, did you see that UTSA kickers pro day? Buddy hit a 70-yarder doing his pro day and ran a 4.49 40. Buddy moves, buddy can kick, and we talking about UTSA. We're not talking about a powerhouse.
But he carved himself out a little bit of news out there, for people to look at him for sure. Hey, look, man, we're going to try to get together on Friday and we'll do Feel Good Friday. And maybe we'll talk about some people we left off the list that will have an impact this year coming up for their new team. But until then, Mac, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you,
Easy,
bruh.
baby.